You think growth means hiring. That's the story everyone tells you. More clients, more hands, more payroll, more meetings to manage the people running the meetings. But right now, more than a third of every new business launched is starting with exactly one person and staying that way. Not because the owners can't afford a team, because they don't need one anymore. And the reason is far stranger than you think. Take a real estate agent, not a huge brokerage, not a team of 12. One person, one phone, one calendar that used to control her entire life. Every listing meant new photos to coordinate, new descriptions to write, new leads to qualify, new follow-up texts to send at exactly the right moment so the lead didn't go cold. She didn't need more hours. She needed more of herself. So for years, the answer seemed obvious. Hire an assistant. Hire a transaction coordinator. Hire someone to handle the leads while she handled the people. That's what growth looked like until it didn't. Here's the part nobody explains clearly. When you hire a person, you're not just buying their time. You're buying their training period, their sick days, their bad mood on a Tuesday, their 2 weeks' notice 6 months later. You're buying coordination. Every person you add doesn't just do work. They also create work just to manage them. That's the hidden cost behind every hire. And it's the reason a one-person business in 2026 can quietly outperform a 5-person team from 5 years ago. So what changed? It's not that the agent got more disciplined. It's not that she works more hours. She actually works fewer. What changed is which 20% of her week she kept and which 80% she handed off. There's a principle behind this, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's called the Pareto Principle. Roughly 80% of your results come from about 20% of what you actually do. For our real estate agent, the 20% was simple. Sit across the table from a buyer. Negotiate a price. Read the room during a showing. The human moments, the other 80%. Drafting listing copy, scheduling showings around 5 different calendars, sending the third follow-up text to a lead who went quiet, qualifying which leads were even worth her time in the first place. For years, she did all of it herself because that's what running a business meant. Now picture the same week, except a small stack of AI agents handles that 80%. One agent reads every new inquiry and ranks it by likelihood to close. One drafts the listing description the moment new photos land in a folder. One sends the follow-up texts in her voice at the exact hour people actually respond. None of them are smarter than her. They don't negotiate. They don't read a room. They just never get tired, never forget, and never need a single meeting to explain what to do next. Here's the part that's easy to miss. None of these agents alone changed much. One automated follow-up text doesn't transform a business. But stack 5 small automations on top of each other, running every single day, and something else takes over. It's called the compound effect. Small actions repeated consistently don't add up in a straight line. They multiply. A single follow-up agent might save 20 minutes a day. That's nothing on day 1. But by month 3, those 20 minutes have turned into recovered leads that would have gone cold. Deals that closed because nobody dropped the ball at hour 48. The agent isn't 10% more productive. She's running a business that behaves like it has a team with none of the coordination cost a real team requires. This is why the math looks so strange from the outside. A traditional business adds revenue roughly in proportion to headcount. More people, more output, more cost, more complexity, in a fairly predictable line. A one-person business running a stack of agents doesn't grow like that. It grows in steps. Flat, flat, flat. Then a sudden jump when the compounding catches up to the work that's been quietly happening in the background for weeks. You don't feel the agents working. You just notice one month that your calendar isn't as full and your numbers are higher anyway. And this is where most people get it backwards. They think the goal is to automate everything, to remove themselves from the business entirely. That's not what's happening here. The agent didn't replace the real estate agent. The agent replaced the parts of the job that were never actually her job to begin with. The negotiating, the reading of the room, the trust built over a kitchen table, none of that moved. What moved was everything sitting between her and that moment, the admin, the reminders, the repetitive thinking that used to eat the hours she now spends doing the one thing only she can do. So if you're staring at your own week right now, wondering whether the answer is to finally hire, ask a different question first. Which 20% of what you do actually requires you, not your time? You specifically. Your judgment, your relationships. Your read on a room nobody else can replicate. Everything outside that 20% is a candidate for a small, boring, repeating agent, not a new employee with a salary and a learning curve. Picture your own calendar 6 months from now. Not emptier because you're doing less. Fuller with the work only you can do, while a quiet stack of agents handles the version of your week that used to belong to someone you hadn't hired yet.